and what's going on with it, and what is it going to take to bring that one back under control, and for the communities that were evacuated due to that fire to return home?
We've seen good progress. Like I said, this weekend, we saw great progress on a lot of the major wildfires that are burning in northern Alberta. The CMO complex itself took between 10 and I believe 30 millimeters of rain in specific areas. So it did get the precipitation. There was lower fire behavior. We've been very successful in our hotspots and reinforcing the containment lines. We are looking and obviously targeting the most important areas of that fire, which would be the highway and the access in and out for those communities. We want to make sure that it's safe for them to return when it is. So we are doing everything that we can to get that wildfire to at least a being held status so that they can feel comfortable returning home.
Thanks, Melissa. Natasha, over to you.
Hi there, thanks. This is for Melissa. You had talked a little bit about the fire bans and fire restrictions. And could you clarify a little bit about, you had mentioned Edson as one being in a fire restriction area. And so how many communities in the central region will be under fire restriction, and how is that different from the fire ban?
So the fire restrictions that are issued by the government of Alberta pertain to the forest protection area. So it would likely be some of the more forested areas. Many of the communities and municipalities throughout the province have the ability to enact their own fire bans. They typically follow suit with what the province puts forward, and we appreciate that, but they do have the ability to choose their own. A fire restriction limits campfires in the backcountry. So it would still allow campers to be able to have wood burning campfires in designated campgrounds as well as on private lands.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. And for Stephen, when it comes to some of the evacuees that were sent to Valemount, and some of those being in maybe seniors' homes and lodges and whatnot, what is the plan specifically to repatriate some Albertans, so from Valemount and parts of BC back to Alberta, like Hinton specifically to start? And then, so are there plans in the works for that right now?
What I can confirm to you is that Unified Command, so Parks Canada and the municipality of Jasper, are both looking at options for trying to get Highway 16 open. So people that are in British Columbia, even if they can't go back to Jasper in the immediate, can get through the park and back into Alberta proper. So they are looking at those options, but as Melissa just indicated, we still do have a wildfire that is deemed out of control in the area of the town site, in the area of Highway 16. So at this point in time, the park remains closed. The evacuation order remains in place, and they are just working on contingencies for the future when conditions are appropriate to allow that.
Okay, so just to clarify, because I know the Parks Canada update that was posted at 1 p.m. does say that as well, working on plans to facilitate transit through the park. But do you have any sense at all of when that might take place?
Canada and the local authority, the municipality of Jasper, are the ones that are best placed to comment on that at this point in time. So I'd recommend that you reach out to them.
Thanks, Stephen. Charles, over to you. Charles, we cannot hear you. All right, CBC SRC, over to you. CBC SRC, you're on mute.
Can I just jump in? I have a feeling that our colleagues at Radio Canada aren't actively listening, perhaps, or having an issue asking a question.
All right, thanks, Natasha. Yeah. We'll move on. Carly, over to you.
Hi there. I'm just looking for an update on how many international firefighters are now here and what fires are they deployed to?
Oh, Carly, I was afraid you were going to ask me that. We do have, sorry, I'm looking through my notes here. There are firefighters here from Jalisco, Mexico. There are 100 of them. We have 23 firefighters from Alaska. We have 55 firefighters from Australia currently deployed. We welcomed South Africa early this morning, and there are over 200 firefighters that came from South Africa. We've got a number of folks from the East Coast. I do know that Ontario did arrive this morning. I could probably get you an inclusive list if you send me an email afterwards. And they're being deployed across the province. Most of our wildfires, the larger wildfires, are in we have one in Lac La Biche that they will be going to, the Lac La Biche forest area. It's the Kettle River wildfire. We're also sending support to the Cattail complex in the Fort McMurray forest area. And I do believe some folks will be deployed to the SEMO wildfire.
Perfect. Do you know if any of them are being sent to Jasper as well, or is that mostly military support in Jasper?
As far as I know, and as far as Parks Canada has told us, they've received the military support that they have, and the resources that we have here in Alberta will stay here until we get any indication that they will require more assistance.
Thanks, Melissa. CBC SRC, we'll try you one more time.
I'm just going to pop in for them, please. That's what I was trying to do earlier. They're sending me their questions on prescribed burns. How many have been done in the province this year?
We did a number of prescribed burns at the beginning of the year. We typically do in the springtime when the snow melts and we have that dry, dead vegetation around communities. It's an ideal time for us to kind of get rid of it, and it helps protect those communities. I don't have the specific numbers off the top of my head, Natasha, but I could probably collect them for you. I do know that we annually engage in a lot of prescribed burning. We actually did it more this year than we typically have because we had less snow on the landscape. So we had that dry, dead vegetation earlier in the year and had the opportunity to do it. I think it was as early as February.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any more hands up, so that's it for today. A reminder that a daily update will be sent out to media following 3:30 p.m. today. Thanks, everyone.